Thank you for staying with us. This is Good Morning Kenya, and my name is Vivian Ndegwa. Now, as human beings, we all experience failure at some point in our life. But the question is, how do you get to rise above it and continue flourishing? And our topic of discussion today is particularly that. And it is rising above failure, specifically as a man. And joining us for this particular discussion is Pastor David Kimani and Pastor Paul Blessing. Pastor Paul and Pastor, I was to call you doctors.
We are coming.
Pastor Paul and Pastor Kimani, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having
You're
us.
doing well this morning?
Yes, we are.
I want us to start by defining what exactly failure is. What is failure?
Okay. Let me paraphrase your question. Before we say what is failure, can we ask ourselves what is not failure? Because we are in a stage whereby we have defined failure the wrong way. So if someone has failed in the society, number one, they are seen like an outcast. Failure is not the opposite of success. That is not failure. Failure simply means missing the mark. For example, I don't know whether you've played darts. All right. I remember sometimes my friends introduced me to darts, and for the first time, knowing the game, I actually won the game. And the point is just throwing the dart to a place you've targeted. Now, when you miss it, when you miss that target, no, that's a failure. But that doesn't mean it ends there, because you pick your darts again and still throw again. So basically, in a simple way, failure is all about missing the mark. And all of us are candidates of missing the mark. So that is simply what failure is all about from our own perspective. Yes.
From your perspective, Pastor Paul?
Thank you for having me today. So as he has said, failure, I usually take it as a teacher, because most things that we want to know always is something new. You want to achieve something, you want to, maybe someone did and you saw it done by another, you want to do it yourself. You will not do as they did exactly. You may do it your own way. And what you may call failure, maybe will be the way to get there, then direct to the right place. So it is not about exactly that you have not managed or you have failed, but it's a process. So when you take it up as a process, you can always rise up again. But when you look at it as a failure, you die there on that spot. Yeah. So it's about seeing it as a process and moving on. Yes.
And what does rising above failure look like? How does that look like?
Okay, let's say rising above failure is like you realize, first you have realized that you are failing or you have failed. Let's say an exam. For example, you were expecting so much. Maybe you were getting A's when you are preparing an exam, but at the end of the final, you get a D. So everybody will like attack you, and you also see yourself as a crushed person. So to rise out of there, you need support from your surrounding, and you need support from inside. Because if they crush you and you accept crushing, you are done. But if you see this as a process and that you can rise up, because even when it is an exam, let's say you are failing Form 4, you can repeat, you can do to Tibet or whatever they call them, you can go for a college, and you can even do a bridging. There's always a way. So if you accept this failure, you rise. But if you see as you have failed, you find someone gets into drugs and they become wasted. Yes.
Maybe what does failure do to a man? Since for today we are specifically looking at men. What does failure do to a man?
Men, we are wired to score. We are wired to win. And we have actually grown up being told, you have to win, you have to succeed, you have to do all that. And so all of us, the moment you score, the you comes out. There's too much life that comes out. But again, in the journey of life, failure is inevitable. So what failure does to a man in most scenarios, because we have been wired to win and to succeed and to make it, it actually kicks us off from the place where we stand. For example, have you ever watched a football match and there's this particular team that the men are actually supporting? The moment there's a goal, that man comes alive. Even the most timid men, they are able to, just shout it Winning gives us life. When we fail, we go to a cocoon of like, what did I just do? And this is simply because we have taught our men how to succeed, but we never prepared them for failure. Because in this journey of success, my brothers, you will fail at some point. Let's agree that.
That's true.
All of us are candidates of failure. I think every one of us on this platform, we have all failed at some point. I'm here because I have failed in some. That's why I'm actually here today. But you see, I did not stop there. If I was not prepared for this success and failure, I was not prepared for failure, then I encountered it, definitely it will take me in a bad place. And that's why you find when a man fails, most of them, you turn to the club. We look for a way out.
A lying one.
Because there is that ego part that I have to win. So if you're given a project at work and it's not a success and you fail, you want to retrieve somewhere. If I fail into my marriage, I want to retrieve somewhere. If I fail as a father, I want to retrieve somewhere because nobody told me it is okay to fail. So the moment you encounter that this is failure, acknowledge it, cry it out. And we have a set of men who are never prepared for failure. That's why we don't cry. We always show a very strong face, but things are actually falling apart. Failure doesn't deal well with men. But this is what we are saying. It is okay to fail. It is okay to start a project and just realize I took a wrong move and I'm now in the ditch. But again, you don't stop there. You pick yourself up again. And this is what we're talking about this morning. How do I rise after realizing I'm actually down? Because once you get down, there's no any other place you can go apart from up.
Go is up.
The worst thing you can do is to fail and remain in that fallen state. Pick yourself up again. And in most scenarios, you realize once you fail, you don't stand up the same man that actually went down. You stand up more wiser, you stand up more better. So basically, failure is a good thing. And if you're not failing, I pray you fail. You learn something. There are things that failure will teach you that no success will ever teach you. Failure is a good teacher. It makes you wiser, it makes you brilliant, it actually makes you to have a different view of life altogether. Show me a man that has failed. That's a man I want to learn from. Yes.
But then you say that, and maybe there's someone who's watching us right now and they feel defeated because they keep failing over and over. You say failure is good, but there are times when someone keeps failing over and over and over. Then what now?
Nothing is new under the sun.
Nothing.
I think about Thomas Edison. This man tried to come up with bulb 1,000 tests. And then when he made it, he was asked, how does it feel to fail 1,000 times? And he said, no, those were not failures. They were actually steps.
Towards success.
Towards success. Success is an accumulation of so many failures, but you rose above them. It is okay that you're failing, but it's not okay if you remain in that fallen state. Pick yourself up again. And still story about Thomas Edison, one statement he said, well, you guys are saying I failed 1,000 times, but actually I learned 1,000 times that can never light up a bulb. So they were lessons. And every failure is a lesson.
It's a lesson.
If Thomas Edison did not fall at 675, he would not have come to 1,000 point whereby he was able to innovate a bulb. Failure is good, and some beautiful things come out of failure. I wish somebody told us that. Beautiful things comes out of failure. I'm thinking about Coca-Cola. Do you know how Coca-Cola came into being?
Tell me about it.
Now, in 1886, this pharmacist, his name is John, he was trying to innovate a drug for his headache. So in the test of trying to mix those chemicals, just see whether he can come up with a drug for his headache, he actually failed. But he came up with something that today is Coca-Cola. Out of his failure, generations later, we all enjoy a cold Coke. What if he did not fail?
No Coke.
No Coke. Some of you, that failure, a Coke is about to come out. Something beautiful is about to come out. So don't fear. The thing is, when you fail, please cry it out. Acknowledge you've failed. But don't stay there. Pick yourself up again with the lessons. With the lessons. I always say when you fall, pick a stone that will remind you, I was once down, I'm not going back down. Those are lessons for you.
And sometimes acknowledging that you have failed is the issue. And this brings me to my next question. Is there a relation between, a correlation between ego and failure?
Yes. Yeah, as you said, a man is born to win. And I would say that a man feels like he needs someone, people below them. They can only show love to people below them. They fight to their contemporaries and they respect those above them. So where he is, he wants his peace and he wants to make it. Once he fails and the people around him does not support, that person is crushed. Let me give an example of a wife. Let this man has failed in maybe a project, or maybe went to politics and they have used all the money. He has finished the money and he comes home, the wife tells him, "You're the most stupid man I've ever seen." That money is entered because the first strength of a man is derived from this house. However much you may succeed out there, and in the house you are crushed by your wife or whoever is around you from where you source, you will not make it. So this ego need to be built. As we said another day, a man is in a man there's a king and there's a child. A king wants to rule and a boy wants to play. And in no environment at any age, a man will like to play. There is a playing boy and there's a ruling king. This king, even if he is a king by name, but the people around him crushes that person, he will never bring out the potential. The ego will be crushed down. So that is why that failure will be a true failure. But even if something happened, I was saying this morning that Obama said, yes, we can. Just one slogan. Made him a president in the United States of America. So you need someone to tell you, you can make it. Just one word. And maybe you have come to the end of yourself and the ego in you will rise up and find you are able to do it and you can make it. Just that one word, you can make it. So the man, as you have said, is a winner and doesn't ever want to fail. But they need to learn that failure, as you have said, is a process. So if you rise today and low, there's success and there's failure. Failure is a lesson, failure is a process, and when I get into it, along the way, I may invent something like Coca-Cola. Then you enter into life positively. Even these killings we are seeing, it's just about someone who has come to an end. Is crushed. They cannot make it. They cannot think through. They see the end of life. Because why should you end someone's life? Even if someone maybe has offended you in marriage or whatever it is, there's another one who can come and marry you. Why destroy a life? Because there's something in you that has come to an end. But if you feel you raise again, you see you can make it, and your ego stands up, and your brain focuses, there's nothing can stand on your way as a man. And the boy child, usually, we have been managing the woman so much, empowerment about a woman. But men has been forgotten, and the boy child is crushed. They need someone to arise and tell the boys, you can make it. From that low age. So they raise up knowing that they are men that will make it. They could fail and they will rise again. They could succeed and that is not the end. They will start again. Yes, that's what I can say.
Would you say that, we're experiencing this femicide? We're seeing girls being, women being killed left, right, center. That's what has been dominating the news for the past 2 weeks, right? And would you say that it is also, it could come from a point where there's a man who is crushed somewhere? Does it come from a point of failure as well?
When we started this conversation, we said most of us, when we fail as men, we retrieve into boxes that are not actually us. No man is born a murderer. No man is born, learning how to swindle people. These are things that we learn along the way. Now, the thing is when you fail in an assignment, in whose hands do you fall in? Because as a society, we have learned how to handle the warrior, the strong man, the man that is winning. But nobody sat us down and told us these warriors, they get wounded. These warriors, they come home having tried their best and it did not work. So how do we handle this man that has actually failed? If this man is not handled well, he takes a path that none of us would be willing to. Because let me tell you, a man that can take a machete or whatever to kill someone, that man needs help. Something is wrong somewhere.
Defeated already.
the way human beings we are created. You know, all animals were created by God speaking. But when it came to man, God actually touched matope and, you know, just formed man. We are created to touch. My touch should mean something to you. But if my touch means nothing to you, that you can actually feel okay to see my blood flowing out, courtesy of your action, something is wrong somewhere. And we are walking, or we are living in the same houses with these men that are wounded, that have taken a very bad path, but we don't even know how to handle them. So they have, you know, they have just taken that route and they have gone way too far, that we need to reach out to them and call them back. These men are not bad, but they have taken a path that is not okay. How do we handle this man when he comes up and says, you know what, I'm wounded, I'm hurting? And we talked about ego, Pastor. Most men don't say something is wrong.
Yeah.
We cover it up. How can you see my tears? No. We go into depression with your wife next to you and she doesn't even know that you're in depression. We have put a facade face. That is the ego. We are trying to protect my strength. And in so trying to protect, we are destroying ourselves first, then people that are so close to us. My brothers, if something is wrong, please say it. If you failed in a deal, please say you're not the first one, neither will you be the last one. If something went wrong, just come out and say. You don't have to, you know, allow it to cook into your mind that you can devise a scheme of killing someone just to see whether you can get money from the parents. It is not right. It is not godly. It is wickedness. Let's say it.
Yeah. And what is the role of a woman in the life of a man who's experiencing failure?
When a man comes home and he says he has failed, that's a wound. Don't add injury into that wound.
It's salt.
How do you handle a broken man? As Pastor is saying, that there is a king who is reigning in a man, but there is also a baby boy that needs to be pampered. So when your husband comes and says, I have failed, look at that man and tell him it's okay to fail.
You can make it.
It's okay. It's okay, you have failed, but we can rise beyond this failure. But unfortunately, our women have learned how only to handle a winning man. That the moment I come home and I told you I was swindled some amount of money, the first thing you do, how stupid were you? How could you make that kind of a decision? How did you not involve me? Okay, it's okay, they failed not to involve you, but again, let's first deal with the wound. The man is wounded. If you don't want him to run to a bottle of alcohol, handle your man before
emotions.
It's too late. Tell him
Emotions.
it's okay. I believe you'll pick yourself up again. The Bible says a righteous man falls 7 times. And some of us will fall so many times and 7 times. But we'll always pick ourselves up again. So when your man comes and says he's wounded, please, just be there for him. When your son comes home, and it starts from these kids when they are small, you don't ask your son, how did you score such kind of a grade? What were you thinking? Okay, they were thinking. That's why the score is not 0%. You know, just tell them, it's okay to get a D. But I believe in you. You wait and see a man that can have a woman next to him and says, I believe in you. That's a Barack Obama right there.
Amen.
He can conquer any mountain.
Amen.
Don't be part of those things that are beating your husband. The economy is on our neck. Our employers are on our neck. Biashara and it's going down. Don't be part of the things that are actually piercing our hearts. Be a medicine to that man in your house. Either your son, your brother, your husband. Just nurse the wound. But again, my brother, don't stay in that fallen state. Pick yourself up again. If the thing failed, it is not you that failed, it's the thing that actually failed. And we need to master to separate what is failing and us. If the business failed, it is the business that failed, not me.
You.
If my marriage failed, it is the marriage, not me. Because you can pick yourself from any fallen side and make something substantial out of your life. Yes.
And then there's something, when you get into purpose, sometimes you might feel like you've failed, you know, since you took a certain route and you feel like you failed. But actually, it wasn't really failure because your purpose was meant to be on a different kind of route. So sometimes all you need to do is a detour. Just do a detour and go to the other side. So when we talk about failure and purpose sometimes, how do we relate these two?
Okay, You know, purpose is something that God designed. It's your DNA. It is your blueprint by God. So you could be thinking that you are pursuing your success, but already on a wrong lane. And of course, if God is with you, of course you have to go to that end of that road and come back, because you have to find it, unless you are doing a job and not work. Because if you are in job, you are, as we said, it is a salary based. But it's work, it's what God got you to become. That's where purpose is. For you to get to your purpose, it is not easy to wake up and the first time you start doing what you do, you find your purpose. You find so many people, they went through different lanes, you failed and you redirected, and at last you come to realize, this is me. And that's where satisfaction is. And before you get there, failure is inevitable. So along the way, as you continue to looking into your purpose, if you go and fail the first one, that maybe you invested a lot of money, your input of your family, and everybody around you was like, this is the way, and we think, you know, some of the people that get job is like, you go for an attachment. After school, maybe you are sent an attachment somewhere, and they go and see the value in you. They say, we can't lose this value. And they take you in, employ you because they want that they see in you. But that is not you. So if you continue to stay that, you're already a failure in life. And because you love the satisfaction, you will surely have to show like you are failing. But it's the direction, a detour, as you have said, towards where you are supposed to become. And throughout this purpose, you need the people around you to support you. As we have spoken about the person who is around you, what they tell you when you have failed. A man, if you tell a man you are a failure, he will hate you all the days of his life. But look, it's a very key. When we say, when you speak, okay, you. If I say someone, you are that person. So they need to speak something, or then themselves build it out of. Otherwise, the building by outside and inside, our purpose will achieve. And in case of a failure, you rise and go.
All right, and on that note, we'll have to call it a wrap on this particular conversation, but I feel like it's such a wide topic. We should find more time to come and delve much into it. But thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for shedding light on this particular conversation. This is where we call it a wrap right here on Good Morning Kenya. On behalf of the entire team, I want to wish you a lovely day. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. My name is Vivian Ndegwa.